We're back. Jay Weidner. You listen to the Smoke and Mirrors Radio Hour, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 on the West Coast, 9 to 10 on the East Coast, all points in between. And if you think I was being glib when I said that about Gloria Steinem, you can actually Google that and find that. And if you think you're wondering why I would associate the CIA with communism, well, my uncle was a top FBI agent, and he told me that every single person that was funding the Communist Party in the 50s was a CIA operative. And J. Edgar Hoover used to refer to the CIA as the Communist Infiltration Agency, believe it or not. Anyway, back with Henry Makow.
Yeah, Jay, let's point out to your listeners what the communists and the CIA have in common.
Please, go ahead.
That is the central banking cartel, which is monopoly capitalism, the biggest monopoly being the monopoly over credit. And they use that monopoly over credit to essentially buy control over most large corporations around the world. And so they're basically getting at a kind of dictatorship of monopoly capital from two directions. One, the capitalist direction, and the other, the communist direction. They're trying to mold the two. In the case of communism, the state is just a front for monopoly capitalism. So it was bankers who set up the CIA, and it's bankers who fund the Communist Party. They're basically all heading in the same direction, which is control of the world by the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and their lackeys.
So they really are all really in control now. Is there any rogue states at all that are you could say are fighting against this oligarchy?
Well, I think they're all members of the same club, but I think even within a club, there's going to be rivalries and dissension. And I guess
that's what I'm counting on.
Yeah, that's what we're all counting on. So, I mean, that's what I'm hoping is the case. And but I'm operating on the assumption that the Iranians and the Russians and the Chinese are all part of the same club, even though they're being portrayed as outsiders. I'm also operating on the assumption that Chavez is part of the same club, and Lula in Brazil, and Obama. That's why Chavez and Obama were practically, hugging each other when they met.
Oh yeah.
And they actually were photographed doing a Masonic handshake. Yeah. And of course, the Pope has been photographed doing a Masonic handshake with Tony Blair. I mean, they're all Freemasons, which is the rubric they're using to bring the world together into a one world government. That's exactly right, and I can't imagine I guess I just can't imagine the evil. That's my problem here, and my wife she is afraid for me because I see this and I can't imagine the absolute evil behind it, and it still boggles the mind. I've been at this for about 30 years now, and I guess I should be starting to get a little calloused about it, but still to this day I can't believe it. Jay, we do have a couple of things going for us, or one thing going for us, and maybe two things. It's the Internet and the instant availability of information and video that can be transmitted around the world instantaneously. That's something that no other dictatorship has had to contend with. And I don't think they're going to be able to take it away from us because they use the Internet for so many other things, including porn, but mainly business, that I don't think they're going to be able to take away our freedom to use it to exchange information. So that's a big plus in our favor.
It's true, and I would even contend that if, say, they found a way to censor it at this stage, how do I put it? Internet literacy is so high that we could all begin talking in code and pretty much 90% understand what we're saying, and none of this would show up in their keyword evaluations or anything. So I think that the cat is already out of the bag. And believe me, I've been around. I used to hang out at this very wealthy guy of a 15,000 book library of rare books, and I would go over to his house and read when I was young. And a lot of that information that was very difficult to find is actually available on the web. The problem with the internet is it's difficult to browse, because if you don't know what you're looking for, it's difficult to find it. That's my only problem with the web. But you're right. I do believe that it could undercut everything happening at the moment, and it's a very exciting thing to have happen, which is why I'm on the radio now. And one of my articles going up on Rense.com will get more readers, and I'm sure you know this too, than the entire number of Sunday New York Times that are printed.
Well, so, I'd like to believe that's true, but we're definitely witnessing a decline in newspaper circulation.
Good.
Everyone knows. And the reason is, and even this decline seems to be spreading to the mainstream media, television, and it'll eventually spread to movies as well, as people realize that they're being brainwashed and deceived and lied to.
Henry, it's already happening. I watch the box office receipts, and right now what you have going on in Hollywood, by the way, has no money. There's no films being made right now. Everybody's out of work, and the only movies that are going to be funded from here on in, as far as I can see, are niche market propaganda films, whether it be the gays or the lawyers or whoever.
Jay, I have to open the front door. You keep talking. I'll be back in a second, okay?
Okay, no problem. But the real point of this whole thing is that Hollywood itself is falling apart. All the newspapers are falling apart, and publishing industry is falling apart, and the TV business is falling apart, and all of this is going on at the same time. And I think that their power structure is being undercut. I really do. Did you ever come back there, Henry? No? Well, I hope he's all right. We're going to be taking a break now. I'm Jay Weidner. You've been listening to Smoke and Mirrors Radio Hour. We'll be back. And just stay tuned.